Hey guys. Okay, sorry for that brief pause. So I woke up today. Today is January 3rd. And do you know what I thought when I first woke up and I not only opened my stock portfolio, but I also looked at the news? I really thought of this. Like that can't stop if you guys have never watched it. It was absolutely amazing. So this is the first article that popped up on my feed when I was looking through my stocks, and I was like, what? I mean, this thing is floating around. Apple hits $3 trillion market cap, becoming the first company to hit the mark. Now, uh, disclosure. You guys know I am invested into Apple. You guys also know that I'm extremely an Apple bull. I'm a tech bull. And even if the stock market goes down, I've always said that the tech sector will recover the first. I think that tech is where the growth is, and something like Apple is one of the leaders. Now, I did not know that they were going to be the first company to hit the $3 trillion mark. And there's a reason why I'm very much pro Apple. Part of it is because I think that they have always thought differently. You can see that this is one of their slogans over here. And people over the years have given a lot of crap to Apple. I've heard it in my streams, and people have said, just wait, just wait. All these people who are buying these overpriced Apple products, they're gonna realize what a fool they are. Why don't they buy something else? Why don't they buy a Dell computer? Why don't you buy a Microsoft Surface? Why don't you buy something else? Why are you chasing Apple? Why are you becoming, one of those people where you just buy the shiny overpriced luxury stuff? My whole thing with the Apple thing is it isn't just people buying Apple computers because of, ooh, it's shiny, oh, it's Apple. It's not like it's just a handbag, a Louis Vuitton handbag. The reason why people buy Apple products is because it just works over here. So you can see that they've had incredible success with the iPhone line, Apple Watch, AirPods, and they also have services like Apple Care, App Store, Apple Music, Apple TV. And as I've shared with you guys in previous streams, Apple is also coming out with, allegedly, the Apple Car in a couple years. So Tim Cook, he probably feels like, oh, yeah, he has led Apple to the way. Now, when I think about Apple over here, I've always thought one of the biggest hindrances of the Apple stock that people can always crap on Apple is the fact that Apple was not for right to repair. And as you guys know, last year they announced a self repair program. I've touched upon it, and I've also said that I felt that them announcing the self service program was one of the best things they could have ever done about their stock, because a lot of the negative PR put on Apple is now gone. When people hear about self service repair, they think, oh, this is great. Apple supports right to repair. They're sharing everything. They're going to allow people to fix their own stuff. They're no longer the bad guy. They have seen the light, and there is no real bad mark on Apple stock. Again, this is just the way that I perceive it from the outside in. I saw a lot of celebration when it came out with the self-repair program. I've also heard people saying, like, it's not really that great, but the fanfare about it is just completely different. They make it sound like Apple's gonna allow people to fix everything moving forward, and when people get into that hype, right, when they start seeing images like, oh, look, it looks like this woman, she's a stylish woman, she can fix her own products now in the convenience of her kitchen. Wow, look at this other woman over here, she looks like she's just enjoying her time fixing her Apple products. It looks like it's cool, it's hip. It does a lot for brand perception. There's nothing as strong as the idea of telling people, we hear you, we'll make it easy. It seems like it would be easy to fix these Apple parts, right? And it I think it helped out the stock a lot, because when you remove that negative PR stuff, right? What can you really criticize Apple about? You could say what people have been saying for years, which is Apple's not as strong as the other computers. Why don't you get a another kind of computer instead? Why don't you get a different brand computer? And this is something that's Apple users, Apple fans have heard many, many, many times, and they're like, yeah, we know we could buy a plastic computer. We know it might have more space and more specs. We're very familiar. We can go back to Windows if we want to, you know, just pure Windows, right? I know that Apple products, they do have, like the MacBooks, they have that thing where you can, I forgot the name of it, but you can run Microsoft on it, as well as the Apple OS X. But yeah, this is just my take on it, and I think that this is one of the fact that they talked about and they said, okay, we'll do the self repair service program, is why Apple is going to catapult back to the $3 trillion market cap. They said it hit it briefly, and it go past it. I truly, truly believe there's really no stopping Apple, because what are we going to say their competitor is in terms of innovation, in terms of fanfare? Are you really going to tell me, seriously, are you really going to tell me it's going to be Asus? Are you really going to tell me Microsoft is going to, or Samsung, or Google, the next Google phone is going to overtake Apple? There is such a wide gap between Apple and other products. It's not even funny. So this is why I think that Apple stock will continue to be strong over here. And then when you hear about things like the M1 chips, now I'm not a computer person, okay? I just know that people said the M1 chips were great. I've heard that it's light, it's very powerful. I think the MacBooks no longer have a fan in them. So when I talk about a lot of this stuff, understand that I'm giving you my views as a person who just kind of looks around and says, okay, I think this is what's happening. I think this is where the tide is turning. And I know a number of people who do use Apple products. So let's see over here, right? January 2019, it just has gone up, 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 and up. Now, because we are on January 3rd, I think the market was extremely strong today. I do expect Apple to kind of taper down, but I don't expect them to go down to 2019 levels. Like, there would have to be a catastrophic thing happening at Apple where all their products have no more demand, their CEO goes kaput, and like, even if Tim Cook steps down, the product lineup of Apple in terms of what they're producing out, I don't think that the company will like stop making iPhones or something like that. Like, for instance, right? Bill Gates is no longer with Microsoft, but look at Microsoft. Microsoft is still going strong, and so that's what I'm trying to get at. I think that this is a very strong stock. If you guys look in the description, I have also said that one of the stocks that I'm investing into the future, because one day I do hope to have a child in the future, is Apple, because I just think it's incredible. And as I've mentioned before, them pushing out the self-service repair is one of the reasons why I started an auto invest into Apple. I thought, hey, this is really, really good. What can you guys really throw crap on Apple? Seriously. Okay, it's overpriced. Okay, it breaks easily. Okay, the parts are expensive. Okay, maybe they're doing measures in place so it's not so repairable. For now, I mean, I don't know how the self-service repairs program is going to be. I think that they're going to lock down certain things, citing security, citing we don't want people to have bad generic parts. But other than that, I think that the tide is shifting to be incredibly favorable to Apple. And as times get tougher, I truly believe people will cut down other spending, but they won't cut down on their lifestyle products. So if you have a person who needs a computer, and let's say they don't have so much money, if you ask them, okay, so your Apple computer is not working very well, do you want to go downgrade to a Dell? They'll say, F that, I don't want to go back to that company. Oh, but well, wait, why don't you go over to buying a ThinkPad instead? They'll be like, no, I don't want to buy a ThinkPad. I don't care what the specs are. I want to use an Apple computer. And again, I can say this because I'm not only an Apple user, I've used a MacBook for a number of years. I know people, once they go to MacBook, they don't switch back. They usually add another Apple product to their lineup. They're like, okay, well, I have a MacBook now. Let me get an iPhone. Let me get the AirPods. And it becomes a big thing. So that is incredibly powerful. Oh, yeah. See, Sonny even uses Apple. He says he gets it 70% off. No, no. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, but the stock price is still going up. I mean, this is the stuff that people have been chattering about for a number of years. Overpriced, okay, whatever. People are still buying LV bags. I shared with you guys yesterday in my stream. The economy wasn't doing great, but LV was making a number of sales, right? And that's a handbag. That's like something like a wallet or key pouch. I mean, you could use a Ziploc bag as a wallet if you really want to. You don't need a $600 or $500 or $600 wallet. Oh, the slavery thing. Okay, so you know what? I don't care about the slavery thing. I'll tell you why, and don't take this out of context. Because you think Apple's the only one who uses child labor, possibly, or they're associated with it. Look at Microsoft. Look at even Lenovo was linked with that stuff. So whenever people like they pick and they choose and they say, okay, well, it's Apple. It's like it's not just Apple. You think when it comes down to like clothing, you think only or shoes, you think only Nike had that scandal? No, if you buy a lot of this cheap fashion stuff like Forever 21, that also associates with that. And not only that, right? Okay, let's talk about you're focusing on one aspect. Are you going in the mines for batteries to see who is old enough to mine lithium? Seriously. Seriously, this is the argument that I think is so boneheaded because people will say, "Oh, well, I heard Apple is associate. Well, how about their competitors?" I don't think that I hope that child labor is stopped, but let's talk about this. This is child labor happens because of an economic issue. No parent wants to send their child working out in the fields at a young age, but they have to because of money issues. And that's the same reason why you see people who own farms, they have their child doing labor on the farm, like maybe picking berries or helping out with feeding the sheep or collecting eggs, not because they hate their children. It's a money issue. So this is the kind of stuff that I just think is so, like, I just think like, okay, so you're gonna just hate on Apple products because of one thing, but not think about what their competitors do. Again, even when it comes to something like a chocolate bar, I know you guys eat chocolate, I know you guys drink coffee. You think that stuff isn't happening when it comes to harvesting the stuff from the fields? You don't think this is happening down the manufacturing line? Do you think everybody who works for picking, certain things, they're over the age of 18? Are we really going to push American or first world country labor laws onto people who are in third world countries? Because it's easy. It's easy to wag your fingers, right? It's easy to say, people shouldn't live like that. But what are the systems put in place to prevent that? Are you really going to criticize a person in a third world country if they have something like 3 kids to feed and they don't have the income to feed all 3 kids, so then they have to have their kids work? I'm not going to give them crap. I'm not going to tell them, oh, hey, person in remote area, why don't you just go to a food bank? Can't you just apply for food stamps? Because that just makes me sound really ignorant. That's where I'm coming from. I don't assume people live having the same quality of life as people in first world countries. But people like to just pick on Apple and be like, well, it's just a slave labor kind of thing. Yeah, fair phone. No, you know what? You think people are gonna go buy a phone that they don't know much about? They got to work on their marketing. Now, I don't know how good the Fairphone is, but I've only heard it in like small little waves. That's it. And Sony, nobody really cares about Sony. Like when I think about Sony, I think about the Vio, and I think like when was the last time I saw the Vio pop around? I mean, what about like Sony's what was that? That Sony made that Zune, right? Or something like that. Like all the Sony products, they have a hype and then they just kind of fizzle down. So I don't want to have a product that I buy from Sony, apart from like maybe a TV where it just, or a headphone where it's just you buy it and it's like, yeah, I need tech support. Yeah, I'm the only person out of 200 people that I know that has a Sony product. Versus if you go to buy a bigger brand computer, like an Apple computer, let's say you're not tech savvy, go to the Apple store. Hey, I'm having problems. My program's not working. Oh, did you try restarting your computer? That kind of stuff. Nah, Apple electric car is gonna be great. They have been spending too long on this stuff. They're not gonna do it half-assed. It's gonna blow people out of the water. That is my firm belief. Apple does not have things in secrecy, and it's not they're gonna have a crappy car. They're not gonna come out with like a Volkswagen, okay? It's not gonna be like the Volkswagen Beetle. Hey you guys, here. And people are gonna be like, what the hell is this? So you've been working in secret for this for a number of years, and you have this like dud? No, because Apple's reputation is on the line. Whenever Apple has released a product, it's always met expectations or exceeded the expectations. And I fully expect that Apple Car, because they have spent a lot of money on having talented people, talented engineers on this stuff. They're not going to skimp out. Like, they're taking a risk to get into a sector that they're not affiliated with on a big scale, right? And that just tells me that for them to trying to conquer the EV market in that sense, it really is different. Like, Apple could have just sat pretty and said, screw it, you guys. We're going to keep making phones. We're going to get complacent. They could have had themselves go down like the Sony Vaio route, but they chose not to. They said, we're going to push the boundaries. Every year, we're going to keep up with the new product more and more, refine it. Maybe we fall short one year, but don't worry, we'll come back to it. And it takes, I admire Apple a lot for that. Right? Like some companies, they just get cocky and then they stop innovating. Apple doesn't stop innovating. Oh yeah, the PlayStation. My bad. I forgot about the gamers. Yeah, but I mean, like, apart from the PlayStation, like, is there anything else really? The Sony TVs, the Sony, like, headphones, PlayStation. I think everybody has, like, a Sony alarm clock. I mean, basically every Chinese person I know has a Sony alarm clock. I have one right in front of me. And the PlayStation. Anything else? Anything else that stands out to you guys? DSLR. Okay, the cameras. Okay, cameras. But still, I don't see people be all like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to get the next Sony DSLR. Oh, I can't wait to buy the next. Like, people, there's no fanfare about the Sony product. It's kind of like, oh, hey, by the way, Sony released a new camera. Oh, okay. When do you hear about it? When you go to a store like Best Buy or B&H, and it's like, oh, okay, wow. Oh yeah, they released it like 5 months ago. Oh wow, it has a good ratings. Oh, cool, cool, cool. Versus Apple products. Hey you guys, AirPods are coming. The new ones are coming. Oh, there's an Apple event, and they just released their newest product. So be on the lookout. I've never heard of anybody talk about Sony's events. Like, even the Microsoft event, I mean, Microsoft did have some sort of event where they were showing how repairable it is. I mean, that was really like a one-trick pony. I heard about it once, and that's it. So whatever Microsoft is doing, I don't hear about it. So I truly believe that because Apple is getting publicity because of hitting this market cap, people will think now I really gotta go ahead and only stick with Apple because they are a great company. They're American. They're huge. Let me invest more into Apple because people don't want to be with the losers. And yeah, so Apple stock. Mark my words. I won't be surprised if it goes down because there might be a sell-off later this month or February. I usually find that it rallies up in January and then usually like February not so great. But even if Apple stock goes down 5%, it's going to go back up. We're going to be hitting more all-time highs. And the day that they release that Apple car and people talk about it, higher, 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 higher. Okay, so let's look at this really quick over here. Hold up, hold up, hold up. One moment. Okay, so let me move my windows. Oh, crap. Hold on. I know people would say, "Oh, Erica, your computer sounds like it's running hard because I can hear your fan." Yeah, you're right. You're right. I never bought the newest 2021 MacBook. I think this is a 2014 or something. So let's see over here. Okay. So apart from that, right, the whole think different thing, as you guys know, in my previous video that I did on December 30th, I spoke about how much I think it's very important for people to care about innovative companies. You know, I think that it's going to be hard to stop a company that's always pushing things, and people really like having the underdog. Over here, oh look at this. Apple trading for 3 trillion is absurd. PE over 30. Stock purchase plan more than twice the annual profit. Muffin filing it. Yeah, but it's not gonna stop because as long as people keep buying into Apple, like the valuations don't matter. Like truly, it doesn't. And what matters really is, do people want to hold on to the stock? Do people want to continue buying into the stock? And if they do, right, stock price goes up. There's no one saying, "Oh, like wait a second, that doesn't make sense." Yeah, I know all these people are buying stocks, but yeah, just don't allow them to buy it. So I always felt like a lot of this like guidance stuff is, it's like, okay, just be mindful of this, be mindful about this, but there are stocks that have just detracted from the numbers, and not only Apple, it's also been everybody's favorite car company over here, Tesla. Look at this, you guys. So this came out earlier today. Yes, Tesla went up 13%. I saw the article yesterday night before I went to sleep, and ooh, wow, Theranos. Oh wow, look at that. Elizabeth Holmes, she couldn't get out of that, I guess. But yeah, so people, as long as people keep buying the stock and holding the stock, doesn't really matter. You can say it's absurd all you want, but Tesla's a huge proof of that. So thank you for the donation, competent man. But yeah, it's not gonna stop Apple shareholders. Definitely didn't stop Tesla shareholders or buyers and things like that. So I woke up today and I was like, whoa, what the hell happened? Like, I knew the stock was going to go up for Tesla. I just didn't think it was going to be that high. And now I think Tesla's at an all-time high. I have, I'm investing more into Tesla, as you guys know. So it's just kind of like, oh, okay, well, even if the stock drops 5 or 6% in the next week, I still have hope that Tesla will continue to rise. Yeah, people will say, I think Tesla is, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I think Tesla's overpriced. I really think it's insane that Tesla's stock is so high. Like, you have to think about it, right? When you think about the numbers here, what do more people buy product wise? Buying stuff from Amazon or buying stuff from Tesla? And I know it sounds crazy for me to say it this way, but when I think about Tesla, I see a few Teslas on the street. But it seems like people are like, oh, Amazon, whatever, Tesla's the way to go. It's like, but Amazon packages I see everywhere. I see, like, I buy off Amazon. It's just, it's insane to me how much growth Tesla can have in a year compared to like an Amazon. Yeah, but people don't care about that. People would say Tesla, Tesla, Tesla because they'll look at it and they'll compare it to Apple. They'll say, "Look, Tesla got electric cars, they got solar, they got clean energy." And then people will say, "Well, don't you care about the environment? Why don't you support Tesla? Tesla is ahead of their competition." Now, talking about competition, I've been very recently asked, like a couple weeks ago, someone asked me, "Oh, what do you think about Lucid?" So you guys know, right? I'm invested into Lucid. Not very much money. But let's talk about Lucid. And I've always thought about, like, Lucid was kind of like the poor man's Tesla. If you can't afford Tesla, then you go off into Lucid. But, like, look, Lucid went up. Lucid went up 8% today. So if anybody bought Lucid, like, yeah, good for you. But Lucid kind of goes up and it kind of goes down. See this? Kind of like up over here, and then it went down over here, and then goes up over here. So that's just my thing. Sorry for anybody who strongly believes in Lucid. Again, I'm not shitting on Lucid stock because I'm not invested. I am invested into Lucid. I want Lucid to do well, but I feel that Lucid is just kind of mimicking Tesla. So if Tesla has a good run that day, then people would say, let me buy Lucid because I can't afford a $1,200 stock, but I can, maybe Lucid will double. And I won't be surprised if Lucid doubles, but it's hard for me to gauge because, like, when I think about Lucid, I just think of them kind of not so cool. Maybe it's just me. I mean, they want to position themselves as a luxury EV car, and the fact that they had these showrooms, but they weren't allowing people to test drive, from what I can recall correctly, just made me think like, I don't know what I think about this. I mean, Tesla, you can test drive a Tesla if you want, but who knows? Maybe Lucid will get up to $100, $150. If so, great. If not, whatever. I don't care. Yeah, I just like, hold on. That's my thought about Lucid. So if you want to invest into Lucid, or if you want to invest into any stock, go right ahead. My suggestion would be dollar cost averaging, and truly, you should have like good feelings about this stock. You should believe in whatever you invest in. I would hesitate going into any of like the meme stocks, but up to you, right? I mean, I can sleep better knowing that I'm invested into a stock like Apple than some kind of, shipping waterways company that you see pushed onto, Wall Street bets kind of thing. There is EVs in the U.S. I don't know how much. I've seen them floating around. I've seen maybe out of every 100 cars, I might see one or two Teslas. That's it. Not very much. So when you think about the fanfare about Tesla, it's kind of like, oh, okay, wow, that's kind of unusual, kind of strange, because I still don't see too many people driving Teslas. I think though it can change in the future. I don't know if Tesla does leasing options, but if Tesla can position themselves as the car to be seen as, not any other car, right? Like, don't get a Porsche, you want to be seen in basically an Apple car before the Apple car drops out. I think that's how they could really thrive in the lease market. But they just got to position themselves differently. Make them sound like the cool kids. You have an Apple product, good. Be seen with Tesla, and that goes along with your Apple product. Yeah, Neo. Are you talking about Neo? NIO? Yeah, Neo went up today. I'm invested into Neo. I would not invest. I would not recommend investing into Chinese stocks right now. And I'm a person who's invested in JD.com, but I'm holding. I'm gritting my teeth and holding on my Chinese stock, JD and Neo. Oh, if only I invested in more into Apple instead of those companies. Oh, I wouldn't even been thinking about the Chinese stock, but that's a whole nother story over here. I mean, you win some, you lose some, and thankfully I'm invested into winners. Overall, I have a lot more winners than I have losers. The losers are kind of like, not that bad. So, all this stuff, I hope that this stream was beneficial to you. I hope that maybe it gave you something to think about, and we will see what happens to Apple and Tesla stock in 2022. I don't think anything's going to stop Apple. I really can't see it. It's not going to be stagnation of the product line. It's not going to be a boycott, because I can't imagine anyone. Apple is so good with their PR. If they weren't aware of their PR, they would have never came out with this self-service repair program with the pretty pictures. So with that being said, right, what's going to stop Apple moving forward? Nothing will. It ain't going to be the Fairphone. I'll tell you that straight up. I know people are going to say I'm hating on the Fairphone, but it's not going to be that. And if it's not going to be Sony, Dell, Samsung, Google, Fairphone, whatever, Apple's just going to continue make the divide. I think a lot of the things with with Apple is they are so far ahead from their competition. Their competition is chasing to get on par with them. You can see it with the Samsung lineup, as I've showed you guys. So that's why I don't think that's why I don't think Samsung will overtake Apple, because how can they overtake Apple when they're following in Apple's footsteps? There's a lot of like products that directly compete with Apple, but it's made after Apple released their product. It's like, oh, hey, if you don't want to support Apple, if you can't afford their products, if you don't want to move over to the Apple iPhone stuff, then here, you can stick with the Android and we'll give you something similar. It just like, I don't know. I just don't feel confident in their competitors, and at all. I really don't. So it's not going to change. The divide's not going to change. There's nothing that's going to close the gap. It's not a big fashion gimmick. How can you say a $3 trillion market cap is a big fashion? You know how many people? Okay, when I went to this like reuse, reduce, recycling conference in Chicago, I looked to see what people had. Now, these people are smarter than me. They're more successful than me. Some of them own companies. They're very intelligent. And I was looking to see what kind of phones people had. I went in elevators and I noticed people, a huge majority of them, had Apple Watches and iPhones. So if you have these people who are much smarter than me, much more successful than me, much more, aware of technology than I am, using iPhones, are you really going to say those people are stupid? I wouldn't dare to say that they're stupid. I think that there's a reason why you have some people who are involved in technology buying iPhones, buying Apple products. It's not because they're dumb, it's because it just works. So I don't like telling people things like, oh, they're just following fashion gimmicks, because you don't know why they're drawn to the Apple stuff. I like it because it's simple. I've never claimed to be smart on tech. I think I'm pretty stupid when it comes to tech. And I need something that's really idiot proof for myself, because I don't understand a lot of stuff. Like I can install programs, I can do certain things, but besides basic knowledge, I don't understand it. I'm not going to be that person who goes and like goes into the nitty gritty or uses Linux or anything like that. I'm not going to be that person who's like, ooh, let me figure out how to do this. Because it's just like when it comes to computer language, it's not my forte. I just want a computer that works. And I think a lot of people, they just want a product that they turn on, it hooks up with their Bluetooth, and it works. They don't want to do problem solving. Some people love doing that. Some people take a lot of pride doing that. But I think the average consumer just doesn't want to deal with it. So when you think about it, right, that's why it worked really well for college students, because people would say, I want to study. I want to learn how to just take notes, and that's it. I want my computer to work. I don't want to have to think about my drivers and this, or doing software updates left and right. Oh, I don't want to have to deal with, oh, my computer crashed out of the blue. Oh, wait, I got to reinstall this or that. No, they could just bring it over to the Apple store. Hey, my Apple computer has a problem. What can I do? They take it, they take it to the Genius Bar. Genius Bar opens it up. Oh, it looks like it's okay. Hey, you know what? We'll reformat your computer for you, or something like that, right? So they basically bring it into a repair place, and that place could be the same place that they bought their computer from, or alternatively, it can be a separate branch, kind of like going to a bank, right? You don't have to just go to the same bank. You can go to a different bank. And that's the beauty about Apple Care. I've seen people where they're not intelligent with the computers. They have a computer and they go to the Genius Bar and they say, can you help me use my Apple computer? I'm having some problems. And then the geniuses say, oh yeah, we'll help you. They have something like I forgot the wording about it. This was a couple years ago, but something like introduction of how to use a MacBook. And it's there's a lot of hand holding, and I know people who are intelligent about tech will be like, that's so stupid, you don't need to have those kind of people walk you through to using a computer. But it's all about the experience. Don't assume everybody who can use a computer knows what to do with a computer. Why don't it, some people, they don't want to deal with Reddit. I've seen people where they're like about 50, 60 years old, and they're like, I just want a computer that works. They don't feel like they don't feel like they can understand computer technology. So buying an Apple product is a way that they can stay on top of things, but also maintain their dignity. You don't want a person who's like, okay, what? Oh, so my stuff isn't working. What do I do? And then they feel kind of helpless. And I'm not blanking statement this with all people who are above the age of 50, but there's a number of people who I know, they're just not good with technology, and that's one of the reasons why they really like Apple products. It makes them feel like they don't have to know everything. They don't gotta be all like, oh hey, let me tell you about the specs. So sometimes I think people they get into this whole sword wagging contest. I've seen it with guys. Hey, do you want to see my water cooling system? Oh, look at this, look at this. And if you're a regular consumer, a computer user, you'll be like, frick, I don't know how to build my own computer. I don't know how to do this stuff. I don't know how to build it from scratch. And then you might feel insecure, right? You'd be like, I don't buy my AMD parts and my tower and cooling system. I don't know how to do that. So the best way to, if you don't want to get involved with that, just say screw it. Screw it. I'll just buy a MacBook. I'll just buy an Apple computer, an Apple desktop, and then I don't have to deal with troubleshooting my own computer. What about AMD stuff? AMD stock is like, I don't know too much about AMD stock. You guys know I'm invested into AMD. So yeah, AMD went up. A lot of tech went up. Um, yeah, see this stuff. Ooh, SoFi. Yeah, so like AMD went up. I don't know too much about AMD. I just know they have something called. This is gonna sound like an idiot Apple user talking about this, but I do know there's something called, like, I think, a Ryzen, and it seems that people really like this Ryzen for whatever reason. So that helps make AMD go up. I don't know what the Ryzen thing is. It's some kind of computer graphics something. Either way, it gets people all excited and happy, and I think it has something to do with gaming. So yeah, they're interested in. Someone's gonna be cringing hearing me talk about AMD. So wait, Erica. So you believe in AMD because I'm like, yeah, they have that Ryzen thing, and people really like it. And I guess I'm like, Intel doesn't compare to this, so AMD is the leader with this thing, and people are just they just love it a lot. So that's all I know about it. And yeah, yeah, I can be honest. Like, I just heard about that, and I mean, when I heard about that, I was like, okay. And I heard about the hype, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll throw money into AMD. Guess. I mean, if they're a leader, and I love tech, I love investing into tech. I like using tech. So yeah, let's go for AMD. And you guys can look at the AMD chart. Don't ask me why it went up so much. I don't know. I don't know what's so great about these Ryzen things, but it causes things to go up. And Nvidia is another one that I'm invested in over here. Look at this. Look at this. Oh my goodness, so beautiful. Look at that. So you can see it went up to 315. Now it's over here. Nvidia's gonna go back up to 315. I'm sure of it. Like, I don't want to go against this company. There's something about these kind of parts company that people really like. I don't know what, but hey, if they like it and it's technology, then I'll go for it. That's my take on it. Uh, let's see. Oh, look. So thank you, competent man. So people said that, yeah, I think there's always going to be a fall in the stock market. It's just timing it, right? I mean, there was a fall in the stock market in 2020. There was a fall in the stock market in 2021. There always will be. But when the crash happens, what is going to go up? Tech is going to take a beating, but it's also going to be the first one to recover, in my opinion. So I just think about it as okay, cool. Yeah. If you're an investor, okay, let's talk about this, right? If you are invested into Nvidia, okay, let's say you invested over here at $112, and then you hear someone say, "Oh, whoa, the stock market is gonna crash," and then you go up to 124, you'd be all like, or 150, you'd be like, "Okay, cool," and then goes down to 128, okay, cool. And then, it just slowly goes up, and then once it hits 224, the stock market is gonna crash. Because you invested early on, you're not gonna be so worried about the crashes so much. And then if it goes up to like 329, you'd be like, "Oh, this is great." And then if it goes down to 296, you'd be like, "I don't really care because I have such a padding that they, like hearing about, ooh, the stock market might crash 5% in a day. It's whatever. Whatever." Yeah. That's why when you hear me talk about some things, I'm just like, yeah, stock market went down. I lost thousands of dollars in one day. I don't really care. I'm sure the stock market will go back up. And that's the thing that people don't consider, especially when they hear these kind of, ooh, it's gonna crash, it's gonna crash. It scares them. And I understand it because I was scared for a number of years too. I would hear things where people would talk about the economy and they'd be like, don't invest because, stock market lost 600, 800 points. And I wouldn't understand it. I still don't understand that jargon, by the way. But I remember hearing that and I would think to myself, oh, this is great. Yeah, that's good that I never had any investments. And then what happens? Freaking whatever, after that headline came out, the stock market eventually recovered. And then here I am looking at it. I'm like, oh man, the stock is good now. Oh, but wait, what I've heard that the stock market's going to crash. You see? So when people don't invest at all, and then they're just like, oh, it's going to crash, it does them a disservice. That's why I've always said, look, you don't have to put in all your money all at one time. You can average in. If you can spend, let's say, $1,000 on a stock, you can put in $100 a month, $100 a week, right? That way, if the stock market crashes 5% in one day, which doesn't really happen very often, but let's just say if it did, you'd be all like, okay, great. I put in, let's say, $300, my stock gains instead of 12%, it's only 7%, and I bought the dip. And, you'll be fine. You have less to worry about. Because if the stock market crashes and you only had $100 or $200 in, you wouldn't really care. But people fall into this trap where they see this doom and gloom kind of stuff. And I just don't like that. I think that it's very, it causes people to just choose not to invest. Investing is very easy with our buddies at the Fed. Printer goes brr, stock goes up. No matter what, it'll go up. Thank you, competent man. But I just kind of think that, like, you guys might have known this. I put money into, I think, a SPY put after COVID happened, and I lost all my money. So I had put, I think I put $2,000. I lost my put, and it stung so badly, you guys, to lose that money for me. I was like, no, I thought this was guaranteed, and I didn't expect the money printer to turn on. But thankfully, my stocks have gone up more than $2,000, so I made up that loss. But still, that's the thing. That was an incredible learning experience to me because it told me that sometimes things just don't make sense. It should have not gone up. The market should have gone down, but it did not just recover. It zoomed upwards after that money printer turned on. Now, do I think that the stock market is inflated? Yes, I do think that. But I think that it will recover. I can't imagine Treasury or the Fed saying, okay, we're just gonna allow the stock market to free fall. They cannot do that. If anything happens, they're gonna step back in and they're gonna probably throw more money in there. Because what you don't want is there to be any sort of collapse. It's not good. That means that the stock market is not truly separate, but it is what it is. So I think that because there's just so much money involved and people don't want to have like a stock market collapse. I don't think the stock market will ever fail to that degree. Yep, Emily is right, right? Emily says buy luxury brands because poor people will sadly buy status when the economy crashes. You don't have to buy luxury brands like Louis Vuitton. You can buy luxury electronics, which I consider to be Apple. I've never known any. Listen to this, okay? I've known a number of people who aren't so financially savvy. One of the things that they will not skimp out on is going to be their technology. So they're not going to say, "Oh yeah, times are tough. Let me not get the newest iPhone." No, these people will scrimp and save just to get the newest iPhone, the newest Apple product, because they would say, "I deserve it." And I remember when I was younger, I just could not understand that thinking. I was saying, like, "What do you mean that you freaking deserve it? You don't have finances to afford it." And but they would say, like, "No, I work hard, so I'm gonna treat myself and then buy the Apple product." So even if like they wipe out a considerable amount of their savings because of that Apple product, or they're in debt because of that Apple product, they feel that that's their reward to themselves. And I think it's quite short-sighted, because I think it's better to have an emergency fund than have the newest phone. I mean, I'm proof of that. Like, if you guys have ever seen my phone is cracked. It has packing tape on it. It has like three cracks on it because I've dropped it at least 3 times. Yeah, one of the reasons why I'm not a big rush to repair my phone, because I just know I'm gonna drop the phone eventually. I know myself very well. I don't take my phone that seriously. I'm like, oh, whoops, it fell off. It fell out of my hand while I was on the phone. Whoops, my bad. Knocked it off a table. Whoops. I don't go into aviation. I don't do any of that stuff, so I can't tell you. I'm openly a very strong tech bull. Aw. No, people love it. They get hyped up. They're like, "Ooh, look at me! I got the newest iPhone. I got the newest iPhone. They don't have it. Never mind that I'm not a social media person at all. I got the newest iPhone. I'm a person of worth. I got the phone." And yeah, just kind of get people like all hyped up about this stuff. And I've tried to figure out, like, hey, what's the difference between the iPhone 13 and the iPhone 12? And it's like I just focus on like the three little lenses and that one little tiny lens. And I care about this stuff because as an Apple shareholder, I want to see what are people using. And if I see people using Apple products and it looks like the newer ones, then it makes me happy, because that tells me most likely they're going to buy the newer iPhone when it comes out. And I want people to buy the newer iPhone, because the more money Apple makes, more sales they make, more people buy their stock, more money I make. See? But I don't have an iPhone. I don't have an iPhone as my daily phone. I have a Samsung S8 Plus, I believe. But yeah, people love it. People love it. No, it actually works. It's not like a handbag. It actually has more stuff associated with it. So if people don't feel like they have value, and I shared that in my previous stream, they might run over to luxury items, and this is like a psychology thing, right? They don't feel the value within themselves, so they'll be like, "Oh, I gotta show you. Do you know I have the latest iPhone? You see my Apple Watch? See my MacBook? It's you know doesn't cost very much. It's like $1,000. People can save up $1,000. They save up $1,000 for the rent. So that's the way I think things are gonna go. And some people don't have a lot of value to them. They might think that, hey, they have a low menial job, but the way that they can one up other people is through their iPhones. So Apple product is not going to die down, because there's just too much self worth in the Apple product. I imagine me going down the street, and then if I was all decked out in Apple stuff, people would be like, "Oh wow, she looks kind of rich. Oh dang, she got the latest MacBook, she got the iPhone, the Apple Watch, she got her AirPods on." People would make that they would make that snap judgment and say, "Wow, she really wants to be on top of technology. She's probably quite successful because she has all these Apple products. The Apple products aren't cheap." And that has a difference in looks compared to styling. Like, you can put a person, if they look kind of bummy, with an iPhone, and like the newest iPhone, and they'll seem like they have more worth. So So I think of Apple products kind of like jewelry, like gold and silver jewelry. Like instead of people walking around with flashy stuff, they have flashy phones now, flashy watches, and that flashy watch is a Apple Watch. I don't know. Well, here's the thing. Like YouTube Airways, nobody really knows what the Xperia 10MK is. So people are gonna be like, "What's that? That sounds like a cheap phone." Like they don't want to be seen as like poor. They want to be seen as rich and successful, on stylish, that kind of stuff. So if people aren't walking around with jewelry anymore, gold, silver, platinum, jewels, precious stones, like back in the day, right? That's how the rich people dressed, right? Furs, jewels, precious metals. They're gonna just have the iPhone. So that's where iPhone has turned into the latest accessory, but it's actually functional because you can use it to take pictures and um, make phone calls and things like that. I do believe that. Yeah, I do believe Apple is heavily wrapped up with people's image about themselves, and I should make a separate stream about this. But so yeah, if people don't want to wear gold jewelry, for instance, they'll say, oh well, I'll show people that I have worth. I'll buy an iPhone. Nobody, the enthusiast is such a small percentage. YouTube Airways, like the only person that would notice this stuff would be like, I hate to say it this way, but it's like the nerds. That's it. Most people, they don't care about this stuff. They just see Apple as valuable. Ooh, shiny Apple. Ooh, looks expensive. Ooh, that person must have their life together. And it's like a snap judgment, but it's true. If you see a person with the latest iPhone 13, you will think that that person is more financially stable than a person who has a cracked Samsung S8 Plus or any like cheap phone. I've known people where, listen to this. They have over $1 million. These people have like multi-million dollars. They don't have an iPhone. They're smart, but they don't have an iPhone. They can definitely afford an iPhone, but the reason why they don't get it is because they say, oh, it's overpriced. They don't, some of these people, they're not on social media at all, so they don't take pictures. They just kind of need the phone just to work. Maybe they have some apps on there, like fitness apps or investing apps, but you don't need a top of the line iPhone for that. So these people, instead of buying the iPhone, they'll use the money, their cost savings, and just invest it into stock. So I've known some people where they've gotten rich because of the stock market, and they live very humble lifestyles. So these people, right? They set up their little nest egg because they don't chase luxury image. They just do what they they buy stuff that they need. They don't buy stuff chasing Apple or chasing that. But it's up to their own. Cause like I said, I don't need an iPhone because I don't I'm not a I don't really care too much about my video quality too much. If I'm out and about, it's like whatever. Like my quality is gonna be crap anyway because of cell phone towers. But yeah, that's the whole thinking about that. So with what I said in mind, Apple having this coveted place in people's mind, they're not going to be buying $2,000, $3,000 jewelry pieces, right? They're just gonna be walking around with their iPhones out and their Apple Watches, and uh, Apple watches are so much cheaper than Rolexes or designer luxury watches. I actually feel kind of bad because it's like I remember when I was younger, I used to see more people walking around with Rolexes, Breitlings, Omegas. I really like Omega Speedmasters. I don't know. There's something about Omega Speedmasters I think look nice. But Panerais, that kind of stuff. And now people are just saying we don't want those luxury watches. We want to go with Apple Watches. And there's nothing wrong with that, okay? But it's a different look. And you guys know that those luxury watches that I was just talking about, they cost way more than an Apple Watch. So the people who have invested in those luxury timepieces, I just kind of think to myself, like, it seems like it's kind of outdated now. Like, if a guy wears a Rolex out, it's like it's a statement piece, but it doesn't have the same pull as it used to have before, because now I think those non-technology luxury watches, they don't stand out. See? So Apple thought of this, and they were like, okay, well, hey, wait a second. People like luxury watches, but luxury watches are kind of getting outdated. So you know what Apple did? They actually collaborated with Hermes, and that was really smart. I thought it was really intelligent. So look at this Apple Watch, Hermes over here. You know what Hermes is? Hermes is the freaking bougie ass luxury brand. They make bags and stuff. See? So they had a collaboration with Hermes, and the watch is pretty cheap. Where is that? See? That was really smart of Apple. Really intelligent. So if you want to buy this watch, the watch is only... It's not that much. I think it's like less than 2,000. But I could be wrong. It wasn't that much. I remember that. I was actually surprised. Come on, Apple. It's not Apple's fault. It's my internet fault. I can tell you that straight up because my computer's lagging. Yeah, see? 1,359. So these kind of watches, if you compare this with, let's say, a Rolex watch. Look at the... See, a used Rolex, for some of them, they're more expensive. Let's find it. But see, look, even this this old watch is... I think Rolexes usually go for about 20K. When I was younger, I used to tell some of my friends who had Rolexes, I used to tell them, like, yeah, if you go on a date, like, watch out for the Rolex thing. Like, don't really show the Rolex off on a first date, because you don't want the chick thinking you're a high roller. But, yeah, I've known a few people with Submariners. I'm not a big fan of Rolex. Yeah, this one. How much is a Submariner? Submariner is... It's a nice watch, don't get me wrong. It's just... kind of... I seem like I'm poor because I have to look up the price. I really want to know what the price of the Rolex Submariner is. If I was rich, I wouldn't even care about the price. I'd be like, I don't care. Okay, let's see. So Rolex Submariner on Amazon, it's $15,000. So, right, when you compare the two, what would you rather get? Would you rather get a Rolex? Or would you rather get this $1,200 watch that has Hermes on it? Now, Hermes, like, I don't consider them to be, like, when I think about Hermes, I think handbag. I don't think about the watch so much, but... You know, all they gotta do is slap their logo, Hermes, on it, and ta-da! $1,200 with the wrist strap. The wrist strap looks like crap. It looks so cheap. Those ones do, at least. I've seen a few people with, like, this one. This leather one.